Four bales of ready-made dresses, sweaters, woolen rugs, ladies' garments worth 1 lakh rupees were booked from Faridabad by goods train on 1st July by Prakash and Company, Delhi for Anand Dress Materials, Elur Road, Vijayawada. After 2 months, only two bales reached the destination in damaged condition, and some other dress materials found missing. The other two bales, consisting of woolen and winter clothing, obviously lost in transit. Local railway authorities inspected damaged goods and issued certificate. Drafted a letter to the Chief Commercial Superintendent, South Central Railway from Anand Dress Materials to inquire and pay compensation early. Drafted a letter from Collector West Godavari, Elur to Commissioner for Relief, Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, that recent unprecedented floods caused damage to standing crops and untold hardship to middle and marginal farmers. Hundreds of houses collapsed. The cattle perished. Poor people lost all their belongings there. Three old bridges collapsed and roads damaged. All assistance was rendered by transit district administration to flood victims. Permanent relief measures necessary, such as sanction of short-term loans to farmers, construction of Pakka houses to weaker sections, modernizing the drainage system, liberal loans to farmers and repairs to breached tanks, road and bridges. Request release 5 crores rupees immediately for the purpose. There are several employees working in various departments either on daily wages or on tenure basis, some of them having put in more than 5 years service. They have now become overaged to seek permanent employment elsewhere. Government had ordered in the past to regularize the services of all temporary employees subject to fulfillment of certain conditions. Dropped a representation from President Andhra Pradesh Temporary Employees Association, Hyderabad, to Chief Secretary to Government, praying that services of all temporary and daily wage employees be regularized on the conditions prescribed earlier. Incidents of waylaying and ambushing the buses by robbers, especially during nights, are on increase. In isolated routes, passengers feel insecure to travel by night services. Crew is reluctant to ply night services. Consequently, corporation is suffering loss in revenue. Draft a letter from an affected passenger to Director General of Police requesting induction of highway patrol squads on important routes, increased surveillance over habitual offenders, and posting armed constables in night services playing in isolated routes. Corporation will bear half the expenditure on the account. The telephone department sent a bill for 1000 rupees towards rental for your residential telephone for May and June. Dropped a petition to the General Manager Telecommunications of our district that you were away with your family for summer vacation during May and did not use telephone. That it was out of order during the second fortnight of June and therefore the bill appears incorrect. Request thorough enquiry and for using revised bill limiting to minimum calls. Also request for issue of instructions to concerned to ensure that similar mistakes do not occur. Perhaps there is no other branch in administration which has been tempered with as much as and as frequently as education since the dawn of independence. A number of changes were brought about only to be changed again and again. We had pre-university course for some time and then switched over to a 2-year intermediate again. Whatever may be these changes, and with whatever good intentions these may have been introduced, there is a widespread feeling that every change that was made contributed only to worsen the situation. I have no doubt in my mind that education has remained the most neglected subject among the departments after independence, in the sense that it is yet to touch ground beneath its feet. It is indeed unfortunate that, in spite of several changes and reforms, our students still carry the burdensome legacies from the imperialist era. It is really shameful that the old system of education, which was introduced to prepare loyal, obedient, slavish bureaucrat to serve the purpose and interests of the imperialist regime, has not lost its content or its form even after several years of independence. As a result, we find that our educational institutions continue to turn out educated youth who are fit only for clerical jobs to become servants of the same old pattern to carry out obediently the orders of their superiors. This system of education has not made our youth self reliant and self confident. It has encouraged them to prefer white collar jobs to production oriented occupations. It has not enthused them to adopt the noble principle of dignity of labor but only to hate it. The queues outside employment exchanges are becoming the ever increasing and never ending before because of the faulty system of education which is still continuing in our educational institutions. There is an imperative need to change this pattern drastically and make it more powerful. The purpose of education should be to prepare the future citizens for carrying out their onerous tasks and responsibilities and to serve the nation effectively. The purpose of education is to correlate scientific spirit and human aspirations and make the future citizens an essential instrument in ushering in happier and better times. The purpose of education should be to broaden the outlook and promote the cultural levels of the students and to enable them to transgress the artificial barriers of caste, creed, and religion and to develop as worthy citizens of this great nation. Above all, the purpose of education should be to impart necessary vocationalization and curb over emphasis on theoretical learning. It should prepare the youth with a practical approach and training for standing on their own legs when they come out of educational institutions. The educational reforms or training are needed to preserve and transmit culture and to make it a vital instrument in the development of body and mind. It is also necessary to ensure that equal opportunities for education, including higher education, are provided to all the needy and deserving not only in urban areas but more so in rural areas, particularly for the children of the poor who have been grouping in darkness and poverty for centuries. Unless the texture of our student fabric is changed rapidly to improve the long neglected poor and backward sections in society, it will not be complete or wholesome. Democratic freedom is meaningless without equality and social justice. Thus, the teacher has a vital role not only in shaping the students but also in forging united and strong nation. Another important aspect which should engage your immediate attention is the aspect of discipline in educational institutions.